Okay, welcome to week 15 of 16. You are almost done. And may I say, everybody who turned in a project at week 13, very, very, very impressive. Great job. So this week we're going to read chapter 30 and we leave the 70s and we leave the 70s in turmoil. We have hostages that have been taken hostage in Iran, and we leave the 70s in just turmoil. Within minutes of Ronald Reagan taking the oath of office at his inauguration, January 20th of 1981, those hostages were released. So that is an example of peace through strength. And we can tell that the Iranians did not view Jimmy Carter as a threat, but that they did view Ronald Reagan as a threat. So that's a little interesting tidbit of this time period. Also, we see the moral majority, the religious right. Jerry Falwell Sr., not Jr. If you watch the news at all in the last few years, definitely not Jr. But Jerry Falwell Sr. was a very conservative, fundamentalist preacher. He is the founder and chancellor of Liberty University, and he is really the founder of the moral majority, which became a force for Republican, pretty much Christian Republican candidates. They disbanded in 1989, I think, but they were really a force, an interesting political action group while they were running. Also, we see Reagan and his supply side economics. Reagan cut government spending, he cut government, he cut taxes, he made all of these cuts on the belief that it would stimulate the economy, and it did. Also, we see Reagan with his strategic defense initiative that Ted Kennedy later dubbed Star Wars. You know, Reagan wanted a protective shield, and if you're paying attention to the news lately, Israel has kind of a protective shield. And I heard a report this morning that they think it has been able to defend against more than 80% of the missiles that Iran's been lobbing at Israel in the last few days. So Reagan was a little ahead of his time, but kind of had the right idea. In 1989, so after Reagan, we see the Berlin Wall fall. Remember, the Berlin Wall was constructed by the Soviets. After World War II, Berlin was divided into 4 areas. There was a horrible blockade where we had the Berlin airlift in the late 40s. And then the Soviets constructed physical barriers. They just wanted to stake their claim and keep everybody out of it. Which, I mean, that's why we have fences, right? We all kind of feel that. And we see also Bush 41, the 41st president of the United States, George Herbert Walker Bush. He was President Reagan's vice president. He raised taxes when he said he wouldn't. That did not sit well with the public, and he was a one-term president. Then in 1992, we have, much like we have right now in 2024, we have 3 strong candidates for president. We had George Herbert Walker Bush, we had Ross Perot, a businessman from Texas, and we had Bill Clinton. And Bill Clinton was charismatic and better looking than the other 2, and he won handily. So we start to see personality, looks, dynamic qualities matter in this day and age of who wins. Also, it's thought by some political analysts that Ross Perot pulled votes from Bush because they were similar. So this year we have President Biden, we have the independent candidate RFK Jr., we have presumably Donald Trump. Those I think will be our 3 candidates. Please be researching them. You need to make informed votes for president, because as we see with President Truman, his policy of containment lasted for decades. Drugs into Korea, drugs into Vietnam. It's a huge thing. Our president, we think, oh, it's just one guy. They're powerful and their policies matter. So enjoy reading about Reagan. I'm going to attach a PDF or a PowerPoint to this announcement, and reach out to me with questions. There are only 3 questions you have to answer this week. So please, all of you, have at least 3 complete sentences each for those. Reach out to me with questions and have a great week.